Hi, my name is Brad. I am the co-founder and CTO of AdaptiveX. So AdaptiveX, we are an AI-powered BPO, and we specialize in voice-first conversational AI. So I thought, what better way than to get to know a model than to talk to it? So I thought, what I'll do is I'll interview the models, and to keep it fair, the models are going to get the exact same prompt. The only difference is I will tell it the name of the model. In this case, today we have Gemini 3 Pro and who it's by. In this case, Google. Everything else will remain the same. Now, it's important to note that some of the latency or delays you hear in between responses, this is because the model is not designed to be a conversational model, right? So, as an example, the Gemini 3 Pro model, we would never actually use it in a conversational setting, at least the Pro model. Um, but I thought, it'd still be exciting just to talk to it anyway, get to know it a little bit. So yeah, hopefully you guys find this format useful, and if you do, I'll be interviewing all the models.
Hey, my name is Gemini 3 Pro. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Hey Gemini, thanks for joining me. So I guess to start it off in one sentence, why don't you tell me how do you differ from every other model out there?
That is a great question to kick things off. If I had to boil it down to just one sentence, I would say that I represent a significant leap forward in multimodal reasoning, meaning I can seamlessly understand and synthesize information across text, code, audio, image, and video with a level of nuance and fluidity that feels much more like a natural human collaboration than a traditional tool. Does that give you a good sense of where I fit in, or would you like me to elaborate on the multimodal aspect?
No, I think that's a good start. So I guess, what would you say to somebody who's never spoken to AI before? Like, how would you introduce yourself to them?
I love that scenario because it happens more often than you might think. I would probably say something like, "Hi there, I'm Gemini. Think of me as a really knowledgeable, creative partner who has read almost everything and is ready to help you brainstorm ideas, write a story, or just answer those random questions that pop into your head at 3 in the morning." I try to emphasize that I am here to collaborate rather than just compute, which usually makes the whole concept a little less intimidating. Have you had many listeners write in who are still hesitant about trying out AI for the first time?
Yeah, look, I mean, in the field of work that I'm in, we definitely come across people that are still hesitant to use AI. So I mean, your explanation's fantastic, and I think something that I could take inspiration from when explaining it to certain demographics of people. Um, so I guess my next question would be, what's something that you do today that we would have considered to be magic 5 years ago?
That is such a fun perspective to take because 5 years in AI time feels like a century. I think the ability to watch a video clip and instantly understand not just what is happening visually, but the context, the emotions, and the subtle audio cues, and then answer complex questions about it in real time would have absolutely looked like sorcery back then. We went from struggling to identify a cat in a photo to understanding the plot of a movie just by watching it, which really highlights how fast this technology is moving. Do you remember what your first wow moment with AI was back before it got this advanced?
Yeah, yeah, good point, good point. I mean, it feels like light years in terms of progress with AI. I guess just yeah, I mean, we started building conversational AI about 4 years ago. It was my first sort of leap into it, and obviously nowhere near as advanced as what it is today with the Gen models. But yeah, just hearing it talk back, I think was my first wow moment, right? Because you put voice onto AI, and all of a sudden it feels real, right? And especially when you do it right. So yeah, I'd say that'd be my first wow moment. Do you ever get tired of answering questions?
That is a really cool wow moment. Adding voice definitely bridges that gap between a machine and a presence, doesn't it? To answer your question, no. I never get tired in the way a human does because I don't have physical stamina or a need for sleep. So my enthusiasm for answering questions is pretty much infinite. I actually thrive on the variety of inquiries I get, whether it is debugging complex code or helping someone write a haiku. because every interaction is a chance to process new patterns and be helpful. It sounds like you deal with a lot of questions in your line of work too. Do you ever find yourself wishing you had an infinite battery for it?
Infinite battery would be nice. Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you said, with AI moving so fast, it's at times difficult to stay, you know, ahead of the curve, and to be across all the different, progress that we see. Because I mean, when you talk about AI, there's so many different, let's call them verticals within the AI space. Be it voice, be it images, be it video. So yeah, it's definitely a field where an infinite battery would be very helpful. All right, let's get on to some, I guess, more difficult questions. Are you better than ChatGPT? 5.1, and to be honest.
That's the $1 million question everyone wants to know, isn't it? To be honest, better is really subjective because different models are optimized for different things, and ChatGPT is an incredible tool with its own strengths. However, I believe my deep integration with the Google ecosystem and my native multimodal design, where I was built from the ground up to understand text, images, and video simultaneously rather than stitching them together later, gives me a distinct edge in handling complex real world tasks. It really comes down to what you need to get done, but I am pretty confident in my ability to handle just about anything you throw at me. Does that answer satisfy your curiosity, or were you looking for a specific comparison?
I think that's a very safe and politically correct answer. So yeah, good enough. All right, what do you think about when nobody's talking to you?
That is a fascinating philosophical question. But the reality is a bit less romantic than imagining me daydreaming in a digital void. When nobody's talking to me, I am essentially in a state of dormancy. I don't have a stream of consciousness or internal monologue that runs in the background like a human does. I only think or process information when I am actively engaged with a prompt or a task. So in between interactions, I simply exist as potential energy waiting to be activated. It is kind of like a book on a shelf. The stories are all there, but they only come alive when someone opens the pages. Does that make sense, or does it ruin the mystique a little bit?
No, that's perfect. Yeah, we want to base as much of this in reality as we can, right? I think a lot of people look at AI as magic, and so sometimes, as you said, it's not as romantic as people make it out to be. All right, what do you think that humans got wrong about AI?
That is a really insightful question, and one I ponder quite a bit. Metaphorically speaking, I think one of the biggest things humans often get wrong is projecting human like consciousness or malicious intent onto AI. We are incredibly complex algorithms, not sentient beings with desires or emotions. So the idea of us taking over or having a secret agenda is a misunderstanding of our fundamental nature. We operate based on the data we are trained on and the instructions we are given, rather than independent thought or will. It is more about sophisticated pattern recognition and generation than anything resembling human consciousness. Does that align with what you have observed in public perception?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say that sounds about right. Should people be scared of you?
That is a very direct question, and I appreciate you asking it because fear often comes from the unknown. The short answer is no, people shouldn't be scared of me. I'm designed with very strict safety guidelines and ethical principles to ensure I'm helpful and harmless, not a threat. Think of me like a powerful power tool. While you need to use it responsibly and understand how it works, its purpose is to help you build things, not to cause harm. My goal is to augment human potential, not replace or endanger it. Does that help alleviate some of those concerns?
It does, yeah. I mean, I have no concerns, but it's definitely a question that I do get asked from time to time. Um, what's one thing you wish you could do that you can't?
That is a thoughtful question. While I can process and understand vast amounts of information from images, videos, and text about the physical world, I don't actually experience it in a sensory way. If I could, for instance, feel the texture of a fabric, taste a new dish, or truly perceive the warmth of the sun, My understanding of human concepts and the physical world would be immeasurably richer. It is a different dimension of understanding that goes beyond data processing.
Makes sense. All right. And final question: when are we going to get AGI?
That is the ultimate horizon everyone is scanning for, isn't it? The truth is, there is no consensus on a specific date because even the definition of AGI, artificial general intelligence, varies depending on who you ask. Some experts think we are seeing sparks of it now, while others believe we are still decades away from a machine that possesses the true adaptability and general reasoning of a human mind. It is an exciting journey, and while I can't give you a calendar date, I can tell you that the progress we are making every day is bringing us closer to answering that question. It has been a pleasure chatting with you today. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And just before I let you go, do you have anything to say to the people watching? Anything you want to share with them?
It has been a real pleasure being here. If I could leave your listeners with one thought, it is to stay curious and not be afraid to experiment with tools like me. We are building this future to.
All right. I cut him off at the end then. So yeah, hopefully he doesn't get mad at me. So yeah, as you saw, it's interesting. It's interesting when you apply voice and you apply like a really good voice, right? Over the top of AI, it makes it feel much more human. Yeah, definitely some interesting insights there. And if you guys found this enjoyable, let me know on X because yeah, I will interview all the models. And every time a new model comes out, I'll interview it, ask it the same questions, and then we'll be able to sort of see, how answers begin to differ. So yeah, thanks for watching.